What's going on, guys? I just got out the shower and I rinsed my hair per usual, and I thought that it would be a great time to do a braid out because I haven't done a braid out in a while. And I also thought, why don't I do a braid out and talk to you guys about my anxiety and how I actually got over my anxiety. I had really bad anxiety for probably at least 6 months back last year in 2022, but I managed to cure it and I feel a lot better these days. And I wanted to explain to you guys like how it all started and what I was going through, and then how I ended up getting better to the point where I am now. And if you follow me on Instagram, like, you've seen me talk about my anxiety and show pictures of, like, you know, when I was thinner and I was going through it and comparing it to now. So this is just more of like a story time, I guess, about it. But before I even start braiding my hair, I need to moisturize my face because I actually wash my face in the shower too, and it is super dry. Yeah, a lot has been going on low-key. Like, I've changed a few things in my routine when it comes to like my skin and my hair. So just like real quick, all these things will be in the description if you want like to try them or whatever, like you're curious. But right now I still use black soap to wash my face and wash my hair. That's not changing because I love black soap. But I also started using retinol, CeraVe, for my face. And then of course, if you're using retinol, you gotta use sunscreen. So I started using Cetaphil facial moisturizer with sunscreen in it. The only thing that's changed with my hair, I still use black soap to wash it and I still rinse it with water every day. But these days I'm finding myself using oil a little bit more than I used to. If you know me, if you've been following my channel and everything for long enough, then you know that I don't really like using product in my hair. I don't even like using oil because I feel like it's so greasy and oily and it just causes buildup in my hair. So I just stopped using it completely for a few years. But in addition to using Jamaican black castor oil every now and then to, like, you know, give my hair that nutrients it needs to like get thicker and stuff like that, I started using this lightweight hair oil. And this is from a small business owner, Gina Sugar Scrubs. And I talked with her and I was like, yeah, I don't really like using oil, but if you can make a lightweight oil that doesn't have any like crazy ingredients in it, then I'll use it. So this is a very, very, very lightweight oil. Like, I'll use this a couple times a week, and it doesn't have any crazy ingredients or like added fragrances or anything. The only thing that makes it smell good is herbs. So this is oil, herbs, it's infused, and it takes a while for her to make it. So I got my hands on this and I'm already like almost halfway through with it, but I'll link this in the description as well. So that was a little update, but let me go ahead and moisturize my face so I'm not feeling all dry. Yo, that feels a lot better. Like, I have pretty dry skin on my face, so whenever I moisturize, it just feels so much better. But I put a little bit of oil. It's just so lightweight. It's crazy. Like, I find myself really using oil these days when I never thought I would be the type to use it more than once, like every few weeks. But now I'm like, yeah, could get some of this in my scalp, but especially my edges. Why are you so obsessed with me? I love taking the most simple approach to everything I do. Like, I feel like people ask me questions and they expect me to have elaborate answers, and I'm just like, like, a lot of people probably would section their hair out and make sure they get like every square inch of their scalp, and I'm just like, kind of just put the oil in my scalp and then rub it in. I'm not super into the whole sectioning and making sure I get every square inch thing. It's just not me. But when it comes to these braid outs, I did learn, like, I can't just BS and hope that I section everything out properly, because sometimes I end up with like a couple locks just not in braids because I didn't really section it out right or plan out where each lock was gonna go. But now I kind of know because I've done it a few times. But anyways, let's get to the topic of discussion. So this is something like I really didn't talk about a lot to people, but if you knew me, I guess, in my personal life, you knew what the struggles were that I was going through last year in 2022. So to back up and give y'all some backstory, like, even before 2022, when I was a kid, my mom took me to the doctor for different symptoms, like just me breathing weird, or, you know, having like weird thoughts about what if this happens, or I'm afraid that this is happening, or whatever. So I went to the doctor and my doctor was just like, this is general anxiety disorder. So I've had general anxiety disorder since I was a kid, and for most of my life it wasn't a problem like that. Like, it was just very mild still manageable. Like it didn't affect me, I guess, throughout my life. But last year I decided I think it's time for me to bulk up some more. So back in 2016 I went through like a nice bulk cycle, gained about 15 pounds, and I was working out for like 5-6 months, and I put on, you know, a decent amount of muscle, decent amount of fat, got a lot stronger. And last year I just wanted to do that all over again. But I don't know, something about it was different, where whatever anxiety or stress I was feeling in my day-to-day life, it just made my appetite not as strong. So you know, like if you've ever tried to gain weight or bulk up, you know that you have to eat a lot more than you're used to eating in order to gain weight. So I was trying to eat more calories, but my appetite wasn't there, and then that would just lead me to feeling nauseous. Like I would eat a larger meal than usual, and then I would just kind of feel nauseous, and then that would just drive my anxiety, and I would be like, oh my god, I feel like I might throw up, or what if I throw up? I don't want to throw up. So it was like a vicious cycle of my anxiety making my appetite lower than usual, and then I'm trying to bulk up and eat more, and then I feel nauseous because I ate so much, and then my anxiety was like, yeah, you're about to throw up. So this was a whole vicious cycle, and just the anxiety mixed with the stress that was just in my day-to-day life. And then I guess like my self-image, like I had this goal of trying to bulk up and gain some weight, but then my anxiety was making it so I couldn't really eat as much as I wanted to, and then I started to lose weight. So yeah, imagine you have a goal of doing one thing and then your anxiety is just like So yeah, as I'm trying to gain weight, I'm losing weight, and it's really like, it really made me feel like I was doing something wrong, or I was being a punk. And I'm like, yo, there's really no reason why. Like I had a perfect bulk era back in 2016, gained 15 pounds in just, you know, a few months, but now all of a sudden I can't do it. So yeah, that mixed with just the fact that I had a goal and I was recognizing that I couldn't achieve my goal. Like whatever I was doing wasn't working, and anytime I tried to like eat more or track my calories better, just anxiety was in the way. So how much weight did I lose? I went from, I'm not even gonna say numbers but yeah, I lost about 10 pounds in probably like 6 months. So imagine, as I'm trying to gain weight, bulk up 15 pounds, I lose 10 pounds. It was a rough era, but that's the worst my anxiety has ever been. And I did like some research trying to do all the exercises and stuff that, you know, you can do when you have anxiety, like the breathing techniques and like the hot showers and things like that. And yeah, they would work, you know, some of the time, but in my head I was just like, why do I have to feel this way in the first place? Like, why does anxiety have to be in my mind in the first place? So after dealing with that for a few months, I just went back to something that I used to use probably a couple years ago, and it really helped with my anxiety to the point where I didn't have to do exercises or like really think too hard about my anxiety. It just went away, and that is CBD. So back a few years ago, I don't know how long ago, I used to use CBD oil, and I used it for like a couple months, and the thing that I liked the most about it was I could take CBD, and I'm not really sure how it works with your brain, but all the anxious thinking and all like the anxious feeling in my body just went away. So at that point I had room to think about what was in my head. So I had room to let the thoughts, like the anxious thoughts, come in and just kind of like talk to myself about it, like talk through it. So I said this before in an older video, but whenever you go to like a psychiatrist and you're diagnosed with something, like say it's ADHD, what they're gonna do is they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna put you on this medication for your ADHD, but we're also going to really recommend that you go to therapy. So while you're taking this medication to relieve like the physical symptoms of your ADHD and help you focus, we're gonna put you in therapy so you can get the tools mentally to understand the condition and understand how you can manage your condition, so you don't have to be on medication for the rest of your life. So that's how that works, and that's pretty much what I've been using CBD for. Like, I don't see it as a long-term solution, and it definitely isn't a long-term solution. But when I use CBD, like, I used to use the oil, but now I just get these CBD gummies from a company that I'm not sponsored by, but I'll put the link in the description. So I'll eat like half a day. Like, when my anxiety was really bad and I first started taking them again, I would take like either a quarter of it or like a half of it every like 5 or 6 hours. But now I'm down to like once every couple days I'll take half, and I guess I've just slowly been like weaning myself off of it. But pretty much I've been able to talk to myself and understand my anxiety better and realize what was triggering my anxiety, and, you know, just rationalize with myself. So while I'm rationalizing and really figuring out what I need to be doing, the CBD is working on like a biological level. Like, it's working on my brain, it's working on my body, it's relaxing me, and I'm just able to think and function. And that's pretty much what any treatment plan would be like for something like anxiety or ADHD or whatever. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at managing my symptoms and getting myself back on track. Whenever people mention to me that they have anxiety and it's like really bad, how mine was really bad a few months ago, I always recommend trying CBD, and especially the brand that I use now. And actually, my mom's friend had really bad anxiety. I was like, why don't you recommend this, you know, this brand to them? Because I use this brand, and honestly, the best brand I've tried. Again, not sponsored, but my mom comes back to me a few weeks later and she's like telling me about how he feels so much better and he's so much more relaxed, and just his day-to-day is not as hectic and as crazy as it used to be, and his mind is so much clearer. He feels so much better. I'm like, yes. Like, every time somebody comes to me, you know, talking about their anxiety, I'm just like, please try CBD, because it's such a simple, I feel like it's just such a simple thing to do, and it's not like it impairs you. You know, you don't have to be in a different state of mind like how some people use weed, Mary Jane, to help with anxiety or depression or whatever. But when you use that, you have to be like, you end up being high, like you end up being intoxicated, and you can't just do that every day, all day, without being in a different state of mind. So I just take the one part out that really matters from the plant, which is the CBD, and I use that, and I don't have to be like impaired when I'm using it. That's why I love CBD so much, because that's like the main chemical that you really get benefits from when it comes to that plant. But the main thing that I started doing to help with my anxiety while I'm on CBD, like just to understand my thinking and everything like that, I started journaling, and I realized that journaling is so underrated. Like, I never understood how journaling works, and somebody explained it to me. Like, you take your thoughts and you just put them into a different medium, and then they're just out of your head. And that's really how it feels. Like, there was a period of time where I was just thinking so much, overthinking, or I had like this problem in my mind that I wanted to find a solution to, or I wanted to just like think it through and just get it out of my head. But no matter how much I thought about it, it was still in my head. So one day I just really started journaling like pretty much every day. So I would just, every time I had a thought in my head and it wouldn't get out of my head no matter how much I thought about it, I would just sit down and just start typing. I type because my handwriting is really bad and it's actually hard for me to write fast. So I type because I can type pretty fast. But I just started typing. So anything that would come to my head, I would just type it. It didn't matter if it made sense or like if I was spelling stuff right, I was just typing. So after however long I would type for, the thing that I was thinking about, it was just out of my head. I don't know like why I never did this before to the extent that, you know, I started doing it, but that's another great tip for anxiety. Like, if you don't want to do the exercises for anxiety, or if you don't want to take CBD or whatever, just the best thing you can do for yourself is to just start writing everything down that you're thinking about. Like, especially if you're an overthinker, or especially if you just realize that your thoughts are getting in the way of your day-to-day life, like you're trying to do stuff in your day-to-day life and your thoughts are just in your head distracting you, just try journaling. Like, you don't have to journal for anybody else besides yourself. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody besides yourself. You don't even have to go back and read it. You can just type it out or write it out and then just let it be. Oh yeah, that's another update I had for y'all. Actually, over these past few months, I wrote 3 ebook guides on like 3 different topics. So they're part of a self-improvement series, and one of the ebook guides is about journaling and how you can use journaling to improve your life, your mindset, reach goals, you know, things like that. So I'll put that link in the bio to all my ebook guides. And since you guys are watching this video and you made it this far, I'll also put a coupon code in the description as well, so you can get 50% off of that. But I have a really good time writing ebook guides. Like back in 2020, I wrote 2 ebook guides, and one was about stock investing for beginners. And that's when I really enjoyed investing, like stock investing, because that's when, you know, COVID happened and the market crashed, so everything was down. But I recognized that there was a really good opportunity to buy stocks and start investing. So I was like, I'm gonna just write an ebook on how to start investing in stocks in the middle of the like a recession or in the middle of a pandemic. So I wrote that, but I'm not offering that as an ebook anymore because it's very specific to that time period where everything crashed because the world was freaking out and dealing with the whole pandemic. But that was one, and I also wrote one about how to get a perfect credit score using credit cards. That one's still available. And if you like followed me back then in 2020 or 2021, then you'll know, like, I really loved credit cards back then, and I had this whole period of time where I was just getting credit cards. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to build up my credit score, but I also wanted to travel. I would just spend the money that I usually would spend every month and get like the minimum amount that I needed to spend on those credit cards, and then I would just get cash back. So I would get like $300, $500 depending on the credit card, and I would just use that to buy tickets and travel and stuff. So that's why I missed 2020 and 2021, because it was just like an explosive era for me when it came to my interest in different ways of like making money. And that's when I first dabbled in writing ebooks or like guides and teaching people how to do certain things that I enjoy doing. So life really be feeling like a game sometimes. Like, so I really just wake up some days and I'm like, what can I do today? Or what can I do this month? Or what can I do this spring? Like right now I'm really excited about spring, and I don't know what it is, but I just feel like this spring is gonna bring a lot of change, like exciting change. I feel very excited for this upcoming season. So I'm like, what can I do that's new? What can I do that's refreshing, that's gonna like challenge me? Like, who will I meet? Who will I speak to? What kind of experiences will we have together? So yeah, I'm always doing something, and I think that's important. Like, I realize that when I'm not doing anything new or anything that I enjoy doing, I just feel like I'm in a rut. I feel like my life is crumbling around me. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything just feels like it's dragging out. When I'm doing something new or exciting, if I'm challenging myself, if I have a plan, I feel great. Life feels great. I feel like I can do anything. I'm excited for the future. I feel like everybody should have something that they're doing that's new or exciting, because that's what life is about. And just the idea of doing the same thing every single day for the rest of your life, or just like letting life take you wherever it takes you, like you just go wherever the wind blows, that's not vibe. That's not the vibe. Like, once you start treating life like a game and realizing that you are the player and you have the controller, you can do whatever you want, that's when it gets fun. I've been living life like that since like 2016. 2016 was also a great year. I talk about 2016 a lot. I talk about 2020 a lot because they're just transformative periods of time. But besides all that, I think I'm really about to get back into doing photography as a hobby. So that's something that I also used to do a lot, was just photographs, whether it was as a hobby or if it was like something, projects I was doing for people, like if they wanted headshots or if they wanted like a studio shoot, because I have a studio set up in my house downstairs. I would just, you know, shoot, upload to Instagram. You can follow my photography Instagram too if you want. But I stopped doing that because when I was shooting people for, you know, for money, it turned into something that wasn't super fun. It just turned into something that I was doing for money. And when it comes to your hobby, sometimes you just gotta stay in that sweet spot. Like, you gotta make sure your hobbies stay fun for you. And when you start putting conditions on your hobby, like, okay, I'm gonna shoot for this person and it has to meet this criteria, it has to be of this quality, I have to make sure they like this, I have to make sure it's done within this time frame, then it becomes something that's not as fun as it used to be. So I took a break from shooting because of that, but now I feel like I'm back to shooting and I'm just doing it as a hobby. Like, I'm not doing any shoots for people unless I just told someone a few days ago, they're like, oh, you're back shooting, I would love to get some headshots done. And I'm like, honestly, my minimum for anything would be a few hundred, and I'm like, my photography is not good enough for me to charge a few hundred for like just some headshots. But the way that I value, you know, photography as a hobby, like that's what I would need in order to feel like I would shoot for somebody. But anyways, if you made it to this point, I love you and I hope you enjoyed the chat. But look at this, I missed one. I don't know how this happens because I swear actually it's not that bad, because usually, oh no, never mind, I missed two. Okay, I'll probably take this out tomorrow morning because really I just like the braid out. I don't like the braid part that much. I was saying, I think I kind of like it up in a ponytail, but I still probably won't wear it like that. But thank you guys for watching. It's always nice chatting and I hope you guys enjoyed. I will catch you in the next video. All right, bye.